Hello everyone, Nolan West here with another update on Highway 65. And I'll also be talking about what bills specifically I'll be working on to get funding for Highway 65 when session resumes January 31st. And last time I talked about Highway 65, I was celebrating getting $7 million for the 99th Avenue intersection. In that video, I mentioned that this puts us in a great position to go for grants. And sure enough, we got a grant for $4.6 million for Highway 65. The $4.6 million is designated specifically for the frontage road on the west side of Highway 65. And for the intersection designs we are considering, the frontage road must go along the whole stretch of Highway 65. Right now, the west side frontage road ends at 109th Avenue. And if that doesn't make any sense, I covered the concepts in a video like 2 years ago, and I'll link to that in the description of this video so you can see all the concepts being considered. But we're finally going to have a design soon, not just a concept. The intersection designs will be finalized in May, and we are looking at doing an open house event immediately after that. So sometime in May, we'll take some public input and you can see what the design actually is going to be, because that's the question I get more than any other question is, what's it going to look like? I'll let you know when we have a date and time for that specifically, and I'll get that out to as many people as possible so we can see what's going on. And what has been gotten for Highway 65 at the legislature in the last few years? Well, it started with my bill acquiring $1.5 million to start this whole process, which was signed into law back in 2020, which now feels like ancient history. After that, we acquired $12 million in grants for the 99th Avenue intersection. And then in 2021, I got the last $7 million we needed to clear all these bureaucratic hoops and, environmental review, pre-design, design, all that. And that brings us to the $4.6 million grant, which we got from the Minnesota Department of Transportation, which I mentioned at the beginning of this video. In all, we have acquired a little over $25 million since I introduced the first Highway 65 bill in 2017. This is the most money Highway 65 has seen since they built the interchange at 125th Avenue. And the state has well over $8 billion right now, which puts us in perfect position to acquire boatloads of construction dollars. Because momentum is a really big deal when it comes to major road projects. No one wants to spend their money and have it amount to anything, not even government. I know a lot of folks are pessimistic because before I was in office, we did have a lot of little tiny bits of money that got studies done, but nothing ever came of those studies, and it never forced the state to commit. But now we're over $25 million deep. The state is definitely committed. And this makes acquiring larger and larger pots of money easier and easier. So there are plenty of reasons to be optimistic about the future of Highway 65. And with that in mind, next session I'll be introducing 6 bills to go after money for Highway 65. And in reality, it's more like 3 bills, but I write each bill in 2 different ways to try and get at the money from multiple angles, because, it's kind of the shotgun approach. We need to do everything we can to get this money. And I'll be going after $18 million for 99th, $25 million for 117th, and $85 million for 109th. I'm crafting these bills to act as matching funds as well for federal dollars from the federal infrastructure bill that passed like a month ago or so. We won't know the specific guidelines on accessing that money until after session has ended, which is incredibly frustrating. But I'm still going to do what I can to see if we can get ahead of the curve, because that money will probably go really fast. So even if we don't know the guidelines, I'm going to try and make sure we can get some. And that's the situation we're in right now. We got another $4.6 million for Highway 65, which puts us over $25 million mark, which means the state is definitely committed. And that will help me get these bills passed into law. And it'll help us acquire more grants from both the state and the federal government. I'll keep you updated as things progress. I talk about Highway 65 all the time. It's my favorite subject. And feel free to ask me any questions you have, and I'll do my best to answer them. And, thanks for taking the time to listen, and I'll see you next time.